WVC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post another quick video here. Just another recent finds video. Some stuff that's come in over the past couple weeks. Mainly stuff from the shop. I guess one or two VCLT pieces, two cassettes, and one CD. So that's kind of what we got. But actually, I want to start off here. I thought I would kind of share this. Since we've been going through this pandemic and everything, obviously masks have started to become kind of a normal part of life these days. So I thought, I'll show as my collection kind of builds. And if you have to wear them from time to time, you might as well have some that you really enjoy wearing. So here's three that I picked up in the not so distant past. The Music Record Shop, which of course is located in downtown St. Louis. Mark, the owner, actually put these together back right when when he reopened, and yeah, it's really kind of cool. Just to do his part in trying to keep people safe, he set up a whole sanitizing station, and free hand sanitizer and places people could wash their hands and everything else. And so he just went ahead and had a number of these made, so if someone forgot their mask or wanted to grab one at the last minute, they were available. So that one's kind of cool. This one here, my favorite band is Godsmack, and they make a Godsmack mask. Of course I'm going to have one. So that was pretty awesome. Love it. And the cool thing about this one is once we get past all this crap, then I'll still have a very cool piece to add to my Godsmack collection. Get one of those foam head dummies or whatever, stick it on there and put it with the rest of my Godsmack shrine. So that was cool. And then this one I got about a week or two ago, which is my American flag mask. Really like this one too because it like when I first got it, I tried it on and I got into something, and next thing you know, I kind of looked down and spent 20-30 minutes and I had the mask on the whole time and didn't even realize it. So it's kind of nice to actually find one that was like really comfortable because when they first this thing happened and all that, most of us probably had those hospital masks, if you will. And those things, they don't stay in place and they slide, and then you're already in the mode of not touching your face, so you're trying to move it all around and kind of get it to come back on your nose, and you end up making a Bill Cosby face. And it's just like they were just so annoying. So glad to get a mask that actually fits comfortably and stays in place, which is odd. I mean, that just shows kind of what the world's coming to. I mean, gosh, it used to be finding a pair of shoes that are comfortable, like ladies finding a pair of heels that are really comfortable, or finding a pair of pants or jeans that fit well. Now it's like, can I get a mask that fits well? That's where we are. But anyway, so those are kind of three of my new masks that I picked up. So kind of just jumping right into new finds. Let's just kind of roll right into it. Number one, we're starting off here with the one and only King Crimson. I really kind of forgotten about this album. This is their 1970 release. Yeah, 1970 release. And it really frustrated me too because I checked this out a long time ago. And so when it popped up in the shop, I recognized the cover and I was like, I know that album. What is it? And I pick it up to look and I'm like, no title. Then I look on the spine, no title. I'm like, what? Okay, I look at the hype sticker. No title. It's like, who the heck is this? And then finally it hit me after a while that it was the King Crimson. I'm like, write your freaking name on there somewhere. But I don't know if this is one of their more popular albums. I mean, I have obviously a number of things by them at Court and a couple other things. But yeah, I mean, definitely good stuff, especially when you start just kind of diving back into your progressive rock mode. Just kind of typical King Crimson right there. So great addition, and this is a reissue. This is the 2011 European press. Next up here, Blind Date. I've wanted this album for so long. I've always loved that cover. Really, kind of main. That's one of the main reasons I wanted was because of the cover. I always thought that was so cool. But it is one of those albums that what's the best way to describe it? This came out in 1979, and the thing I've always thought that was kind of cool about this is if you go back and listen to the entire album from front to back, each one of the songs can sound a bit different. Like one song may sound like an 80s pop type of thing. Another song may sound even a little more pushing towards the hair metal or glam metal side and that type of thing. But that's one of the things that makes this album so cool is if you actually go through and really listen to and take in each song, in my opinion, there's no like amazing hits that should have been number one. Some good songs, but nothing like that. But what it does bring to the table is from 1979, it's like this album had songs that were perfect indicators of where everything was going to go in the 80s. So you listen to some stuff on here and you're like, that is the epitome of what 80s pop was going to become. Then there's another song that comes on. Oh, that's the epitome of what 80s new wave was going to become. Oh, that's what 80s glam and hair metal was going to become. And it's almost like these guys were just right there on the verge of creating the roadmap, to just everything that was going to come about in the 80s. And you really hear that on this album. Now, the thing that maybe kind of frustrates you a little bit is everything is right on the verge, but it doesn't quite turn the corner, where you're like, oh, if you could just added a little bit of this and just kind of did that, that would have been the perfect 80s new wave type of song. Or so, how can you expect them to do it though? Because they're doing it before that style even existed, so to speak. But that's the thing I've always found interesting about this album. So kind of fun to finally have it in my collection there. And yes, we finally got some more Creed on vinyl. Shut up, I don't care what you say. I love Creed. I thought they were a fantastic band. Um, most people tend to get into that, once I go hardcore and, and I love my Melvins or my Mudhoney or, all these type of bands, then if anyone ever takes that and does something pop with it, it's like, oh, which is fine because music is totally subjective. So you're more than allowed to like what you like and not like what you don't like. So don't get me wrong on that part. But for me, it's just always if there's elements about something that I like, hearing something raw and underground that takes those elements, hearing something that kind of makes it big and makes those elements, that has those elements, and hearing something poppy that has those elements. I can find different ways to appreciate all the different ways of delivering that thing that I like. So Creed is definitely, I think, one of those bands that took the hard alternative, I guess you can say grunge to a certain degree, the complete and total mainstream version of it. But I don't care. They made great music. That's all stuff I love. That's all I care about. 3 LP set, Walmart exclusive. Basically the exact same album from the 2004 CD release. Greatest hits. And the thing I really like about Creed too, and this is something that I give them a lot of props on. Again, I'm sure a ton of people disagree. You can go ahead and hit the thumbs down right now if you want. But Creed was one of the few bands. There's a few others, but one of the few bands that could truly make, like in my opinion, beautiful, emotional, hard rock music. Like a lot of bands can't bring those two things together with big soaring riffs and kind of big overpowering sound and kind of power vocals coming out. But yeah, bands can do those type of songs and rock those type of songs and you love them. But when you say, is that like beautiful emotional music, is that like Sade turned hard rock? There's a lot of bands just they couldn't do it even if they wanted to try. And that's just something I've always respected about Creed and really liked about them is they had the knack to do that and do it time and time and time again. So take that for what it's worth. This Mr. Hall of Fame's channel, so you got to deal with it. Best of Bon Jovi. This is Crossroads. Just the greatest hits. This was also a Walmart exclusive like the Creed. Although I missed it when it came out. and I was kind of disappointed and didn't even know it was out until Billy Hirsch showed a copy of it in a video. And I've been wanting to get it, but I was like, I'm not gonna pay, the secondary market price has been like $45 for them, and I'm like, whatever. And walked into a store the other day, a place called CD Warehouse, and they had a brand new sealed copy for $17. It's like, yes. So Bon Jovi's greatest hits, and all the stuff you would expect to have on here: Living on a Prayer, Keeping the Faith, Always, Dead or Alive, They Lay Your Hands on Me, Bed of Roses, Blade of Glory, Bad Medicine, blah 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 blah. But definitely glad I got my hands on that. And this is the 1982 release from Ecstasy. English Settlement. Not an Ecstasy album that I see too often. I don't know if you guys stumble across this quite a bit, but I don't think I've ever seen a copy before. So I was really kind of pumped when this came into the shop the other day, and especially in fantastic condition, because that's always the big issue I run in with most XTC albums I see. Is XTC albums I see, is that they're usually, it's kind of hard to find those in mint condition. So great copy there. I don't think there were really any gigantic hits off of this, but it's really just kind of them doing their kind of just their own weird little 80s style. It wasn't quite new wave. It wasn't pop. It was just them. So another awesome find. I'm not picking up a ton of 12-inch singles these days, but one person I will always pick up if I don't have it is the one and only Grace Jones. And this is the 12-inch single to On Your Knees. Again, love Grace in my mind, just a total icon, just total style, total uniqueness, and just I don't know, just a girl very, very comfortable in her skin. Let's put it that way. And the next couple picks here, or actually three, I should say, really pumped to get because this completes my discography by this particular artist, at least of all the studio albums. And it's Jason Isbell. And this is with the 400 unit. This is the Nashville Sound. Unlike a lot of you, I just discovered Jason like really over the past 6 months to a year or so. I don't know how I got caught sleeping on so much of that and just totally fell in love with him so fast and been just kind of grabbing up all kinds of stuff. So had a lot of credits sitting on the books and a few of his albums came in and I just decided to snatch them all up. So that's what it is. Again, it's nice because it completes my discography with all of his studio albums. So the Nashville Sound, while not even his best album, still a fantastic album. I mean, this guy, when you talk about just going back to the art of just songwriting and actually producing what I would label as, again, just true music, is the guy's phenomenal. And here we have Jason Isbell in the 400 unit again. And this is Here We Rest. Same thing, I never really heard this album before, and then pulled it out. And I mean, just from the moment you put it on with Alabama Pines, it's just like, oh, another great one. So another fantastic one there. And that completes the discography for me there. Another Jason Isbell in the 400 units. And if you're like me and for some reason he slipped by you all this time, definitely make sure you check him out. A great, not even a cross, but just kind of I'd almost label it as a light country, which is really kind of bordering on popish, but he just sits in this space of just like real music, like real singer-songwriter. But so if you don't know him at all, I definitely recommend Southeastern as probably his best album, which I didn't show here. But that's definitely the one I recommend checking out first. But I don't think you'll be very disappointed with any of his stuff. But glad to get those three back in the collection. Or in the collection, not even back. Kind of looking at some more artist completions here. The last two I needed for my System of a Down collection. And that's to steal this album. 2 LP set, originally released in 2002. This is the 2018 pressing. And I'm definitely glad they reissued these. I mean, I have a couple of OG pressings with Toxicity and one other that was an OG. But I've been kind of just picking up the reissues to complete the rest because freaking OGs are expensive. So and I'm not a big enough fan to go pay $90 for one of their original pressings. But definitely pick up the reissues, and they all sound pretty good. But System of a Down, still this album. If you're not familiar with them, definitely one of those hard bands to describe. They're just one of those bands that like to have fun and do it their own way, you know. So they're not afraid to go metal on you. They're not afraid to go acting silly on you. They're not afraid to go, that doesn't belong there, but let's just put it in anyway. Like they just do what they feel. It's a So my favorite songs by them, again, if you have not checked them out for some reason, I'm really having a hard time talking today. For some reason, I really got hooked to them by hearing the song BYOB. That was the first song that kind of pulled me in, which I think was good because it was um, a little more comfortable to dive into. I think if I would have discovered some of their other stuff first, I may not have gotten into the band. But that was a very kind of soft song. It's not a soft song, but just an easy song to kind of pull you in, where you can get a feel, and then maybe go to their stuff that's a little more out there, if you will. That and Sugar. But this is Hypnotize. That's the second piece that I picked up there, and again, kind of the exact same thing I was saying. Then you got Thin Lizzy here, which is Nightlife. Again, another one of those albums that I don't think I've ever seen a copy of this actually. So I'm not sure how often this floats around or whatever. But I also kind of thought, since I haven't seen a copy of it, I would go ahead and pick it up. Because typically, even if I saw that much ring wear in a used album, I normally would not buy it anymore. But I was like, man, something tells me, especially with the vinyl being extremely clean and the Vertigo label, I was like, yeah, you better grab that for sure. But kind of a new album to me. It's not one of the Thin Lizzy albums I was kind of familiar with from 1974. One of my first impressions after listening to it was, and this is just something that happened in my mind, I was like, that album's not as hard as the cover looks. I'm thinking kind of boys are back in town and just kind of whatever, but it's really kind of more of a little more laid back, I think, for Thin Lizzy. And Phil with his just awesome vocal delivery as always. I always say Phil, he never sings, he just talks real cool. Like he's not singing, he's just talking cool is what he's doing. But great album there. And a nice little find in the $2.99 bin, little Pavarotti. Never really liked him that much before, but over the years, I really started to get into him a lot more. So when I find any of his stuff in mint condition, I always pick it up. Very, very powerful voice, just an amazing tenor. And then this one here, excuse me, Baltic Beats 2. And this is Pastoral Sequences. And I should have looked up the name. There's someone, not even a part of the VC, but just does videos. And what they do is they have people that like just at their homes with their collections and DJ setups, or not even DJs, people just playing music. And they'll just like DJ for 45 minutes on a certain genre or something and just play song after song after song. And which is really cool. No narrating, no, just turn on the mic. Hi, people. Today we're going to be doing mostly reggae and blah, blah. And then they just start playing. But there was some girl, and I don't remember where she was from, somewhere over in the UK, I believe. And she was really into the, I forgot what the style of music, how she labeled it, but just kind of the avant-garde, just kind of more, not even beats, but just like strange melodies and clicks and, all these different type of sounds, as opposed to, God, I forgot the name she used for it, but she had a bunch of stuff like that. And this was one of the things that she played, and I was just like, that's some really cool stuff. I kind of really hear something awesome in there. Kind of like one of the weird things you might hear on like a Pure Moods 12 type of album. no vocals or anything, but I wish I could remember that term. But anyway, so yeah, after she played a song or two off of that, I was like, that is freaking fantastic. So I got on Discogs and picked one up. But Baltic Beats 2. Next here, saw this come through, so went ahead and snagged it up, especially being in pretty good condition. You have sticks, pieces of 8. So you can see it's a promo there. And the main reason I wanted to grab it was because it is a white label promo, which was nice. As you can see there, in pretty, see how clean that is. Great shape. So I did purchase the box set, the 180 gram releases they put out a few years ago, and those sound fantastic, but just whenever I stumble across them, I've been wanting to get all the studio albums on, some OG presses as well. So picking up a promo is definitely a great way to do it. And then this one was there as well. Not a promo, but a nice original pressing of Paradise by the Styx. I think I got this one just because some of my credit was starting to burn my pocket as it was building up. But I went ahead and picked up Astro Creep 2000 by White Zombie. And this is the music on vinyl pressing. And I say it was kind of burning my pocket because I have a very nice near mint original pressing of this. But I do love the music on vinyl pressings, and I do love almost kind of collecting those to a certain degree. So I thought, why not? We'll grab it. Can never have too much Zombie. Great stuff. I mean, More Human Than Human, Supercharger, Blood, Milk, and Sky. Just a lot of that great early Zombie stuff. And then the last two are kind of VCLTs. This one I got a little while ago from Billy Hurst. Just went out and picked it up for me when he picked up a copy for himself. I mean, didn't ask me about it or anything. Which, really, really appreciate. And I think Billy kind of knows too that this album holds a significant amount of meaning for me as well. Just in pretty much all things that spawn for me in terms of, metal and hard rock and everything. It almost all comes back to this album. Because this was the first type of metal / hard rock / glam and all of that album that I ever really listened to and got into. And still to this day love every song from front to back. Still not sure if I'm going to open it or not. I was actually kind of debating that where Billy and I were talking about it. Maybe I will at some point in time, but I mean, I have an original US pressing. I have a US colored vinyl reissue. I have a Japanese pressing of it. So, I mean, I have some good pressings that sound really good. So I think for now I'm going to just keep it sealed for a while. And my friend Liz hooked me up with this, which is Nirvana, Nevermind, of course. This is I think this was a Target exclusive, silver vinyl. And she ordered a copy of it, and for some reason they sent her 2. And when she actually contacted about sending it back, they're like, So she was like, you want it? I'm like, oh, sure, why not? And it may kind of come in handy too, because my Nirvana collection, which is some of the earlier pressings, or not early, but some of the earlier pressings, they're all sealed. So if I do ever listen to Nirvana, I typically go to CDs because I haven't opened any of the vinyl that I have. But so maybe this will kind of become my listening copy for Nevermind. Although, does anyone ever really listen to Nevermind anymore? It's and I don't mean it as a slam, but kind of saying jokingly, there's just some albums that so big, got shoved in your face so much, you shoved it in your own face so much, it becomes really hard to go back and listen to them now. Like Nevermind is a great example, like legendary album. You think it's fantastic. You can name all the songs on there and what made them so special and this and that. You want to go listen to it? I'm good. Kind of the same thing with like Led Zeppelin 4, another great example. I mean, like you're going to kick in with Black Dog and, Rock and Roll. I mean, those are just amazing songs. Stairway, of course, amazing. Do you really want to go listen to Led Zeppelin 4 right now? Listen to Stairway from start to finish? Yeah. But anyway, so, cassettes. I said I had a couple cassettes there. I'll just do a quick flash. Kiss Animalize. Still kind of working on completing the Kiss collection there. And Little Love Hunter by Whitesnake. That was a cool one to find. I've never bumped into this one on cassette before. And the last thing I want to show here, which is CD, Pantera, Great Southern Trendkill. I always want to say Treadkill. I don't know why. Nice little deluxe CD there. 2 disc. First disc is just kind of the studio album. The second disc has some outtakes and some live stuff and, you know, all that kind of thing. And the cool thing about it, I don't like, you guys know I'm not very fond of live recordings, because most of the time I feel like they aren't done very well. But the one cool thing about this, and again, Phil didn't sound great on the live recordings. The energy sounded awesome, but it was just, man, listening to Dimebag riff live is just, man, that dude just had the magic. It's just like he took this, like the awesome elements of southern rock guitar and the awesome elements of metal and thrash metal, and he put them together and just made this nice, beautiful cake. And then he sprinkled a little Zakk Wylde on the top. And that's what you get with Dime. And it really kind of showed on some of the stuff that was on that second bonus CD there. So another cool addition there. But anyway, there you go, VC. Thanks so much for stopping in as always. And we'll talk to you soon. All right, take care, guys.